You're watching Breakfast Daily on City TV, hashtag Breakfast Daily. WhatsApp 0550-585832. Yes, it is still Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Pink October. I've got my pink ribbon on, and we're talking about breast cancer issues throughout the month of October in various ways and various forms. And we've got various guests who have been coming in to discuss this all important topics with us. And our next guest is someone who I admire greatly because of her consistent dedication to preaching the gospel of breast cancer awareness as a survivor, as somebody who has beaten this for the past 12 years. So we're going to talk to her. Her name is Juliette Lutterodt, and she's here once again to educate us, to inform us, and to inspire us, which is what we need, right? Welcome and good morning to you, Juliette.
Thank you so much, Kokri. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Always great to see you as well, looking as radiant as ever.
Listen, I'm trying to keep up with you beautiful people in Accra.
No. And you've got your pink uniform on for
matching
October.
It bright and early.
Yes, but great to see you, great to have you on Breakfast Daily.
Thank you.
And once again, to talk to you about your story and what you want to say to other people. Now, the interesting thing is that 12 years ago, you went through this. You've really dedicated your life, your time, your efforts, your resources to being a breast cancer awareness ambassador all over the world, not just here in Ghana and at home. How do you consistently find the energy, time to dig deep, to keep doing this year after year after year?
I think naturally we are all born with certain strengths. Mine is consistency. I don't quit at anything I do. So once I set my mind off onto something I'm doing, it has to go all the way. It has to be, I've been a hairstylist for 30 years. It is what it is. I'm not stopping. And once I retire, I'll teach on it. So it is something that I've always, once I started with Pink for Africa, plus I look at myself, my scars remind me every day. Not to quit.
Not to quit.
So
you're inspiring a lot of people this morning. Okay, let's rewind. Let's go back to 12 years ago.
Yes.
Just a summary of your story.
Right.
How you found out you had the big C, as some people still call it, and what happened from there. So just a quick one for people who may not know.
So 12 years ago, almost 13 years ago actually, it was, I went for a routine mammogram and got called back in for an ultrasound. And when you turn 40 in the US, they also check your breast. So it's one of the process you go through with the mammogram. The mammogram came back not clear, and we jumped onto the ultrasound. Still, there was dense tissue, and they had seen something small. They needed to go in with an MRI. So they went in with the MRI. The left breast had passed. They went in for the right breast. And when I got to MRI, the technician accidentally did the left. And found a tumor in the left.
Wait.
Yes.
So they initially didn't see anything in the left breast.
No, the left had passed.
They were supposed to go into the right.
Yes.
And somehow this technician goes into the breast that they thought was clear.
Yes.
And finds something.
So now I was questioning the right, because I said, okay, if we found something in the left, we need to also be clear of the right, because initially I'd come in with the right. So they went into the right cleared. And the left was rather what was brewing. It was very, very small, but it was brewing.
Prior to this, had you noticed anything? Had you
no symptoms
been checking?
At all? I was actually at my peak as a hairstylist. I was working on between Fashion Week in New York, on set with BET, MTV. I was teaching through the Caribbean.
I was living your best life.
I was living my best life. And so there was no signs. And I think that majority of us women, it's very typical. What we do is we are consumed with what we're doing, and we neglect ourselves. So even if there were signs, I did not pay attention.
Had you been doing regular breast, they say we should do our self-breast exams and all
I had
that.
gone to all the walks. Every year I'm propaganding the walks, and yet I had never checked my breast. And that is why it's one of the things at the back of my mind that makes me want to constantly remind women, don't just do the talk, walk the walk as well. Yes.
Ooh, okay, so they find this lump, very, very small. Give us an indication, maybe something to compare.
So it was smaller than a pea. It was a little smaller than a pea.
No way.
Yeah.
A pea that you would eat.
A pea that you eat. It was a little smaller than a pea. So that is why the mammogram didn't pick it up and the ultrasound didn't pick it up. And a doctor's finger couldn't pick it up either.
Right.
So even if I did a breast check, I wouldn't pick it up. But the MRI the images are so clear that it picked it up. So the MRI had to do the biopsy. The doctor couldn't do the biopsy because the doctor didn't see it.
Yeah.
So I had to go lay back down and let the MRI machine come in and then stick a needle and go in and pull tissue samples out to go test.
Okay.
And that came out positive.
The test revealed that it was breast cancer.
Yes.
Was there any history in your family?
No, I was the first to be diagnosed.
So when people say that, oh, most people who get breast cancer may have had some
It's
family
likely.
history.
It's likely. It's not ruled out. It's
Okay.
definitely likely.
But you hadn't known of any relative?
No, I
that
hadn't
had
known
this
of anybody.
before?
And you know, sadly, in our culture and in most of Africa, we hide what we have.
Yes.
So we don't share with our sisters, with our family, enough where it becomes a medical history.
Yes.
So it could have been somebody in my family had it and I didn't know.
That's a good point, actually. You probably would have never known if an aunt or a grandparent or someone
because
had
things
had
are hidden. We hide so much, and part of the advocacy is to really encourage women to share their stories with their sisters. If you're diagnosed at 40, every woman and man in your family should start checking when they are 30. So 10 years prior to your diagnosis, everybody should start checking. I advise my nieces to start checking at 20 because I was diagnosed at 40. So I tell them 20 years before, start learning to do your breast examination yourself. And then by the time you're 30, get a mammogram.
Okay, so you get this diagnosis, your initial reaction?
The doctor called me to come into the office. It was February 14th, Valentine's Day. Yes.
What year?
And 08.
08, okay.
And she called me to come in. He called me to come into the office. And when I walked in, I had the flu. I was very sick. My husband was away on a business trip. And I quickly walked in. He says, we need to address this issue right away. The type of cancer that it is, he's not very pleased with. It grows rapidly. And so we need to do a mastectomy right away. And I said, hold up. I need a second opinion. I need to seek some more advice. So I went to a different doctor, seeked another opinion. Now, I'm a bit of an investigator. I'm like a little Columbo. So I put all my information, my records, my files, and I was reading through everything. They had seen a total of 3 sections in both breasts.
Okay.
That was not mentioned. Just the one was being talked about. So I wanted to biopsy all 3. And to be sure, 100% sure, if I was removing both breasts or I was removing one. So I looked at my results, looked at everything, and then I started to call different doctors, get advice. Where do I go from here? And then I finally met an Indian breast surgeon who said to me, if you're my little sister, I'll tell you remove the breast completely. My initial doctor wanted to do a lumpectomy.
Okay, just to take out the part that
and she said, I'll advise you to remove the breast completely. You're young. This type of cancer comes back, and sometimes when it comes back, we don't catch it early. So take the breast off. So I went in. April 14th, it was my birthday, my 40th birthday.
You'll never forget that.
No. Renew.
That on your 40th
Reborn.
birthday,
Yeah.
you had a mastectomy.
Yeah, they sang happy birthday to me in the theater room. And I said, let's do this.
I'm just so amazed by your constant optimism, and it's like you took the bull by the horns. You've been given this, for many people, be devastating news, right? You start running through life in your head. You probably want a few minutes.
Moments.
You had your moments there as well.
Absolutely, I'm a human being.
Yes.
My youngest son was 9 years old. I have 3 boys. I had my moments, but I also think that it is when your faith is tested. You cannot go to church and worry. You cannot trust in God and worry. If you worry, please don't go to church anymore. You're in the wrong place.
You're in the wrong place.
Whoever is up there talking to you as a pastor is not getting to you. You got to take it away. Get your knees, go straight to the Father and talk to him. I used to pull up a chair in my living room and say, we got to talk, dude.
40 years old, 40th birthday, mastectomy. Talk to us about what that was like, the treatment, the recovery process.
You know, I shared a little story yesterday about when I was 12 or 13. I was in the Tessana Club swimming, and I'd gone into the room the changing room with one of my girlfriends, who said to me, my breast is bigger than yours. And I said, well, mine is coming too. And she said, I'll tell you a secret. If you take the banku stick your mother cooks with and you keep it under your pillow and at 4 a.m. you hit it 3 times, it will grow quickly. I did this religiously. It was the beginning of my relationship with my breast. So as women, you have this relationship
with your boobs.
From the first time a boy touches it to the first time you breastfeed, to all of the experiences you go through,
yes,
which validates being a woman. And now you're told you have to lose them.
Yeah.
So you go through a little something. But I'm sure when I walked in, I came in here with some big hips.
Look.
So you can't mistake that.
You came in with a lot more than that. A lot more than that as well. So did you find that you had to?
I knew I had to go through the process. I knew what I had to do. But I said a prayer and I knew going forward. The good thing is that being diagnosed in the States, you're given an option to do a reconstruction surgery. So you're able to kind of decide whether you want to go bigger or you want to go smaller. And it starts to get exciting. You're getting some young ones.
Do you understand? Ones that will stand up without a bra.
There you go.
No bra.
Exactly. So it is what it is in that respect, even though that has its challenges as well.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It does.
And 12 years later, you're still here and you're able to come and educate the rest of us. You have no idea how much you're inspiring right now.
Early detection is the key.
It's the key. All right. We're seeing younger and younger women getting diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh, yes.
A lot of that. I'm sure in your line of work, your advocacy, you're seeing that as well.
Yesterday, I was with 3 girls. One was 27, one was 30, one was 32. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. The 27-year-old had both removed.
This is a word to the wise. If you're watching and you've been kind of dilly-dallying about Breast Cancer Awareness Month and you think this is just something, it's a token celebration that comes every year, please pay close attention, listen carefully, and do the needful. Just go and get screened, all right? Go and get examined by a professional. Make sure you're in the clear and check your family history. Maybe talk to your relatives, your mom, grandmother. See if there's anything like that that may have been hidden in the family that could have an effect on you. You never know. Never know. All right. Now, you go through all of this, you recover, you're here. We're so grateful for that. You decide to establish a foundation called Pink for Africa.
Yes.
Talk to me about Pink for Africa.
Pink for Africa, initially, I'm a hairstylist. I've been a hairstylist for quite some time, and I was surrounded by women. And I realized as soon as I was diagnosed, because I was open and I shared my story with everybody, it allowed women to continuously approach me. Sometimes they could be in the waiting room waiting to get the breast results and they're panicking and they'll call me and I'll be the voice on the other line to say, you're going to be okay, don't worry about it. Whatever it is, we're going to push through together. And that really prompted me, plus a little bit of research I did on Ghana and women and survival rates and stigmas and all kinds of education that needed to help. 10 years ago when I started Pink for Africa in Ghana, there was some presence of awareness. I think in the last 10 years, I'm really proud of how it has grown. And obviously, because we're all talking about it, we need to also get it outside of Accra. Yes. Because even though Accra is saturated with education, outside of Accra and the outskirts of Accra don't get that same attention.
You're so right.
So we need to reach out. So what Pink for Africa has done is to be able to educate women outside of Accra. We do a little bit of television and TV. We go to Kolebu and Akomfanoche are the 2 hospitals we donate to. Right. In the last 10 years, we've educated over 500,000 people. We have donated over $100,000 between the 2 hospitals. We've donated over 300 prosthetics. I came back this year alone. I brought 500 prosthetics to donate, and we've been all year long. We're going to be giving away. Okay. So we started with every quarter, or we started with once a year donating. Now we are at every 3 months donating. I'm working towards every month being able to come to Kolebu and Akomfanoche and see what the immediate need is and how we can support our women, because we wait too late to show up. When we find a lump, we go to the herbalist. We go to church. Church is great, don't get me wrong. But church, there are no doctors there. So you need to, God is going to use the doctor to get to you and heal you. So you need to really, the churches, we need to really encourage our pastors to promote health through our hospitals as well.
Yeah.
I know every doctor wants to hit their chest and say they cured you. Doctors don't take that path because they don't want to cure you. So please find your way to the hospitals and let the doctors do their work.
Yes.
And if you cannot, you need help, within the right timing, we will be able to step in and help you as well.
Fantastic.
But you cannot be diagnosed and then you leave, then you go and play with the herbalist,
Right.
then you call Pink for Africa
Right.
that you need help.
At stage 4.
By then,
by then-
sometimes it could be too late.
It could be. Now, obviously, with Pink for Africa, you're doing a lot to help other people, but how can people help you at Pink for Africa?
So it's a beautiful question and a question for me, and thank you so much, Kokui. What I wanted to show for me, and I've done this even with my profession, is that before I come to you, I want to show you what I can do.
Okay.
So within my own, we've raised majority of the money coming from outside of the country. Starting next year, we're going to be approaching corporate Ghana.
Okay.
And try to see so that when we go back to the US to ask for money, we can say this is what our people are doing to help. So look out, everybody. We're going to be coming with letters. We're going to be
Yes.
coming with all kinds of fun, interesting, and as much footage as you need, whatever you need to be able to meet the requirements of different companies so that we can pour in. The goal is to take a patient and pay for everything. Because what we're finding is we help them to a point, we subsidize, the government subsidize, whatever is left, the patient cannot pay.
And
So
that's
then
it.
they die.
That's the
So the
difference.
survival rate for Ghana is still very, very low.
Because of the cost of treatment.
So there are days when I feel like, am I really impacting?
You are. Make no mistake. You are. I'm here to tell you, you're impacting. You're one person, and those who support you are a few people, but we can do a lot more if we support. So how do people touch base with you?
So
to get in touch?
www.pinkforafrica.org is the website. We are on all the social media platforms, Pink for Africa. If you need to reach us, quickest way is to get me through Facebook, get me through Instagram. Pink for Africa is there. I check my mail every day, and we will get to you. I have people, I even have my phone numbers out there because that's how much I want people to reach out, especially concerning this. I counsel from Caribbean all the way. So my VP is a Jamaican, and we've opened up the Caribbean world as well to us. And there are women we counsel. Now, COVID has taught us a lot.
Yes.
So we're able to do video talks and encourage women who are struggling, who may not want to tell anybody else what's going on. Please open up to somebody, whether it's us or somebody. Please have an outlet that you also go and talk and pour out to. It's very important. That support is so important.
I have to talk about this quickly before we go. You also do something to use to raise funds for Pink for
Yes,
Africa.
yes.
You make beautiful handbags.
So
Very
while I
quickly.
was going through chemo,
Yes.
I was flipping through a magazine that my husband had brought me. I'd come back from chemo, bald, tired, and sitting down, and he's like, okay, here, this came for you. Maybe it will excite you. And it was a big magazine from one of the high-end stores. And as I was going through, I saw handbags, and he knows I love handbags. And I would look at the bottom of the bag, and I'll see $5,000, $7,000. I'm like, who is buying these bags? It prompted me to now look for leather. So I Googled leather, I researched leather, I Googled manufacturers, I researched. Before I knew, I was surrounded with leather samples. I had bought a software for designing handbags, and I'd started a whole brand. And the Jewels collection line was born. So 20% of my profit goes to do all the legwork, the background work, so that 100% of the donation can go towards the donation.
Towards the donation.
So when you buy a handbag as a woman from the Jewels collection line, you are helping save a life.
Look at that. Fashion for a good cause.
Absolutely.
We love it. Juliette Lutterodt, thank you so much. Can't thank you enough for always being so open about your journey and inspiring many women as well. You've heard it. Look, this is testimony from a successful survivor who is telling all of us to take note of our health, take note of any signs, get checked, get screened. As she said, she had no reason to believe anything was amiss, but yet something was. So please, this month of October, let's take it seriously. Visit your clinic, talk to a doctor, get yourself checked out so that you too can be sitting here one day and telling people that it is possible to be a survivor of breast cancer. We'll be right back.